Good morning, FMHS. Today is Monday.
Today is Tuesday, March 2nd, and we're back with another episode of Hoofbeat News.
Up first today, Akacia has a scoop on a relatively new issue facing teens today.
We want to talk a little bit about social media and mental health. We know that human beings are social creatures, and we like to be connected and communicate with others, and social media does give us those tools to feel connected and a part of something. There's so many great things about social media, as we know. Being connected to other people and other causes that are so good to promote. The research is fairly new since social media is so new about the negative impacts of social media. We're just kind of starting to learn more about that now, and the mental health role and toll it's taking on young adults. We know that there's often a fear of being inadequate, fear of missing out, fear of being feeling isolated, depression and anxiety. We're noticing an uptick in that related to social media. So I think it's just important for young adults to start thinking about their own personal experience with social media and being aware of how they're feeling. And if we notice, man, I'm feeling pretty low, maybe I need to take a break. Maybe I need to check where I'm at and take care of myself. And people have had a lot of success with maybe just setting boundaries for themselves about social media, and when you could maybe have a fast or a cleanse and step away from that for a day or two or a week, and notice if you feel different. So I think just setting your own boundaries, maybe even using an app to check how long you've been on social media and how much time you're spending on it, is a wise idea for anyone.
Hello, young people from Morgan High School. I'm here to talk to you about self-respect. Before you send something, push the pause button. Make sure that's what you want to do. Understand and never, ever, ever goes away. Your character and your reputation follows you forever. So before you hit send, stop, pause, reflect, and say, no way. I'm here 1 or 2 days a week. If you'd love to see me after school, come down to the counseling office. I'd love to get together with some groups and we could talk about life's happening in your life and in other people's life. We're going to make this world a better place. I hope to see you. Remember, self-respect goes a long way because you're stuck with yourself for the rest of your life. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, so I'm Officer Galliano, the SRO, the School Resource Officer at the high school. I've been asked to speak about the legal problems with sharing inappropriate photos. And as a cop and as a father, I kind of have to start off with number one, just don't. It typically never ever ends well, and this isn't the legal aspect of it, but just be aware that, and I even tell my friends, cops that I work with, this. Anything that you share with a friend that you say this is just in confidence, remember they have somebody that they are close to, that they're going to say the same thing to, and that's how the ball gets rolling with a lot of this stuff. And then other times it's, of course, failed relationships and things get ugly that way. As far as the legal aspect of it, just the act of sharing that, by definition, is what they call sexual exploitation of a child. Once you've sent that, and once that person receives it, they are now in possession of illegal material, and they're in possession of sexually exploitive material, which just being in possession of it is a class 3 felony. If it were, not that it really matters, but I mean, if it were, say, a small video clip or something of that effect, it's even worse. It's then a class 4 felony. So we're not talking, baby, municipal court or misdemeanor charges. This is, you go to jail or potentially prison for charges like this. And that's just, it's bad enough in itself. The fines and the jail time that are possible are very high. I think on a first offense for the class 3 felony, for just having that on your phone or in your possession, it's a minimum of $1,000 fine up to $100,000, and it goes up from there. And that's based on a number of things, the number of photos that you might have, whether you sent them, whether they are actually a movie or a video clip. All those things matter.
Thanks, Akacia.
Boys soccer has started to prepare for their season. Here's Josie with the story.
The FMHS boys soccer season finally began after having their season postponed in the fall. After a long wait, the boys are excited to finally begin their season, especially the seniors. Here's Rubio to tell you a little bit more. Are you excited for your senior season?
Yeah, I'm very excited to play this year. This is going to be my last year playing my favorite sport. Yeah.
What goals do you have for yourself this season?
My goals for this season, hopefully we can win the state playoffs. I hope we can just get a good record.
What upper class player do you look up to the most?
Jelani Rico, and I actually see him as competition.
What are your main goals for high school?
Scoring many goals and helping the team win.
What expectations do you have for this season?
For this season, the expectations we have, first of all, we have to focus on the well-being of our team members, and work hard and try to win.
Yo pienso que la expectativa de todo el equipo va a ser tratar de ir lo más lejos que podamos y tratar de ganar un championships.
When did you start working at FMHS?
This is my 26th year here at Fort Morgan High School, and it just seemed like I started yesterday. That's how fast the time has went.
When did you start working at FMHS?
I started working here in August of 1995. There were some openings here for my wife Carolyn and I, and we interviewed for jobs, and so I came on and became a Mustang for the second time in August of 1995.
Who is still teaching at FMHS when you started teaching here?
I'm thinking right now, Mrs. Tormolin has been here longer than I have, and also Mr. Ditter's been here longer than I have, and I'm not recalling any others. There may be a few others, but those are the two that pop into my mind right now.
Did you teach other classes besides German?
Yes, I actually came to Fort Morgan High School, and I was hired to be a Spanish teacher and a math teacher, and so I've taught a variety of math classes. What is now known as pre-algebra was called Math 9, and then I taught consumer math, and then I also got to teach one semester of senior math, and it was a memorable class, and I still run into those students today, and they bring up times that we had when we were learning math.
How has the school changed over the years?
Well, obviously we have carpeting now in the halls, so that's different. Also, when I first came back, the ceiling was higher. We had asbestos on the ceiling, and we had different light fixtures. The ceilings were lowered. We did some renovations, and we added some rooms and a new gymnasium, and that was real nice. Also, it's just changed, like the gym has changed. There's new bleachers in there, different from when I was in school here, and they were wooden bleachers, and they were real shaky, and it was kind of scary level bleachers. Also, in the office area, there's been some additions, and then the library has been renovated, and that's new. And along that hallway where there's math classrooms and offices, those used to be conference rooms, and they had doors on either side, so you couldn't get in there unless you were able to, have permission to get in there. As far as during the passing periods you could walk through there, but when we were in class, those doors were closed, and also they were closed during lunch.
When did you have Mr. Hochanadel as a teacher?
So I had Mr. Hochanadel as a teacher when I was a sophomore, junior, and senior. I graduated in 2012, and I took German 1, 2, and 3 with him.
How are things different from when you were a student?
So I think the biggest difference is when I was a student, we did a lot of more work on paper versus having a Chromebook or working online. So I think that is the biggest difference from like when I was a student and now for Mr. Hochanadel's class.
Thanks, Johnny.
Have a craving for something sweet in the morning? NHS has the perfect fundraiser for you, and Gaby has the story.
Fort Morgan NHS was looking for a unique fundraiser and came up with something that will make your Friday mornings better. It is a donut sale. John will tell us more about his experience selling donuts for NHS.
Walking around, going like teacher to teacher and asking if they wanted a donut and seeing them happy if they got a donut. The first week it was hard to get students to buy the donuts because they didn't know that much about it. Instead of letting them come to us, we kind of went to them the first week. Yeah, a parent bought a whole box the first week, so. I think they were happy once they got a donut, because it's a donut.
NHS will be hosting a donut sale every other Friday. You can always find NHS members all around the school if you're ever craving a donut on a Friday morning. So don't miss out on our donut sale this upcoming Friday.
Thanks, Gaby.
And now for our last story. Brock is here with a game review for an older game some of you may have heard of, called Sea of Thieves.
Good morning, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about a game a couple of buddies and I stumbled across around this December or so called Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is an open-world AAA game created by the game company Rare. You can shoot yourself out of cannons, kill skeletons, steal loot, sell loot, or even fight other players. Sea of Thieves has an incredible amount of detail added throughout the world and has just enough little things to do here and there to keep you occupied during the more boring parts of the game. And I know some of you are asking, why would you play a boring video game? Well, to answer you, I would tell you that even though some parts of the game seem to slow you down to a crawl, such as simply sailing from one island to another, it's made up for with intense ship fights, random events, and a good bit of camaraderie shared between you and your friends. Now, this game can be played solo, but the experience is honestly just really slow and boring. Personally, I would suggest that you gather up some friends, 1 to 3 preferably, and then set sail as it really supports some of the points in the game that you slow down to a crawl. But enough bashing on the negative sides of the game, let's take a look at some of the better perspectives instead. One topic I really wanted to touch on is the community that built itself around the game. The crazy amount of diversity this game has is pretty insane. You'll meet people who are salty and aggressive players who want nothing but to kill you and steal all your stuff, but you'll also meet some people that want nothing but to hang around with the fellow players and play some instruments. Not to mention that the amount of detail put into the world is really brilliant. All the different islands and places to explore leave the game with a really good amount of variety, and to be honest with you, we haven't even explored the whole map yet, and it's been about 3 months. On top of that, this game is seriously addicting, so be careful. In between the good laughs shared with your friends and the slow-paced sailing sits a stupid amount of dedication to grinding this game until the end of the earth. Seriously, look at the amount of playtime we have on this game, and again, we haven't even explored the whole map yet. So, in conclusion, I would definitely recommend this game to anybody interested in a game that has really funny and high-intensity moments that can turn drastically into something calming and immersive. To give an overall score, I would easily give this game a 9 out of 10, and I would give it a perfect score too if it weren't for the fact that it's really not that fun when you play by yourself. But anyways, thank you Fort Morgan High School, and I'll see you all in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Brock. And that's all the news we have for you today.
We will see you next week for another episode of Hoofbeat News.
From all of us here at Hoofbeat, have a great week, FMHS.